Okay, so this time round we've got a Dragon 32. Now, I'm not really familiar with these computers because growing up, I knew they existed, but no one had one near me. And it's a shame, really, because they are lovely little computers. It's basically a Tandy CoCo, slightly modified software in it, so it's not 100% compatible, but damn is near, about 99.9%. A little cartridge port on the side there. So I have this one, as you can see, it has a little bit of a suntan to it. And then I've got this nice boxed one as well, which has a bit of an issue, and this is the one we're going to be looking at more today. You can see, spec-wise, 6809 processor, 32K of RAM, Microsoft Basic, professional keyboard, basic trading manual, 9-colour display, 5 different colours, and it was made in Wales as well. And hence the reason why it's a dragon, because obviously dragon being the symbol on the Welsh flag. I do like the fact they put TV not included on the front of the box, though, just in case there was any confusion that you was going to get a TV with it. So if we just open up the styrofoam here, we'll see this one. So as you can see, the power supply is a nice little compact unit. Has a 9-pin D-style connector, which again is usually for joysticks, but for this they've used it for power. Here's the joystick itself. As you can see, it's got a kind of round barrel connector for it, and it's a non-centering joystick. Looks like an analog joystick. However, this one did come with this as well. This is an adapter so that you can use just regular Atari joysticks with it. And as you can see, Dragon and Radio Shack, because like I say, it is basically a very similar to the CoCo. Got the tape leads here, and as you can see again, so that's the record lead and the remote lead, but this is the lead for the mic, and yeah, you can see it's like obviously they've had to splice it back at some point. And then I've got this other lead as well, also for a tape connector. If you've got a 5-pin DIN connector on your tape player, you can use that one. I thought this was quite handy. Nice little sheet here, which basically gives you all the commands, basically most common commands you're going to need to use for this computer. Which is a nice little touch, really. Saves you having to wade through the manual. Also, I've got the original receipt for when it was bought. And if we have a look, this was bought on the 14th of the 3rd, 1983. And they bought the computer for £195 and Know Your Dragon book for £5.95. So obviously whoever bought it was planning on making their own software or doing their own style of things. This is the programming book that comes with it. As you can see, someone's already cut the warranty out of that. But again, a nicely printed book. It explains everything quite clearly. Again, I like the fact how easy it is to kind of create music on there. As you can see, it's very simple. And this is the computer itself. You can see it's still a little bit yellowed. Not as suntanned as the other one, but the seals are still intact on 2 sides, so it means no one's ever been in this one. We just compare it to that other one now, and you can see straight away one's definitely been out in the sun a lot more than the other. And then you can see the bits that haven't been in the sun. So the power supply for this is 8.5 volts, 1.5 amps, and a 28 volts, 250 milliamp. There's AC supply, so it's just a center tap transformer in there. And again, internally, then it must have the things to basically convert it into a DC waveform for for all the various internal bits. Just going to use an RF lead for now for this. That's a perfect picture. I just didn't have it on the right channel. Again, not the best picture in the world, but kind of what I was expecting for an RF lead anyway. Just checking the keyboard. And again, this keyboard feels very robust. It feels like it could take some abuse. So this is the better looking dragon. Now, as you'll see, if I turn this around, this power button is very sketchy. You just lightly touch it and power goes off. And what it was doing earlier was you would get it where it would power up for 5 seconds, power off, then power up for 5 seconds, power off. So we're going to have a look at this and see if we can fix it. So originally I tried to get these stickers off, the do not tamper stickers, but the whole point of a tamper sticker is they've made it as difficult as possible to kind of take out, so I'm just going to go straight through them. And again, very simple construction here, just literally 4 screws holding this case together. Looks like someone's used a bit of masking tape at some point to try and hold that power button down. Well, they're probably losing their programs every 2 minutes, halfway through doing something, and it would just go. So now internally, again, very nice modular design. I'm just going to remove the keyboard for now. Don't need to for the fix we need. The fix we need is at the back, but I just wanted to have a look underneath, just kind of see what the build quality was like of this keyboard. As I say, using it, it feels very robust. And you can see it's well supported in there as well. Just a simple pin connector to take it off. Very nicely built. As I say, kind of reminiscent for me of the BBC Micro. Again, now I just got to take this power board out. But as you can see, the whole computer itself is very modular. So you just got the keyboard, the main board, and now this is the power supply board. Just held on with 4 screws. Very simple thing to remove. And again, first time I'm really having a look at this computer. So again, rather than look at a teardown thing, I just kind of like to have a go myself. And then if I get stuck, then I'll look at a video or a guide or something. But as you can see with this one so far, there's not really been any issues. One thing I did find is when you try and remove this, initially it won't. You've got to push that power button in before it will come out. So now I'm going to push that power button in, as you can see, then you can remove it. Just take that out. So just having a look at that power button there, just seeing if there's any loose connections underneath on the solder. Feels like it's in there fairly tight. Doesn't look like there's any cracked solder or anything. So probably just a build up of dust over the years in the switch, but I'll go over them points again. Also, this is the power connector. And bearing in mind, we know no one's been in this computer because the seals are still intact. So that's come from the factory like that, which is surprising considering the quality of the rest of the solder is so good that someone's just kind of, obviously whoever was doing that must have been their first day in the factory. But I'll just go over them points again anyway, just clearing it all up. Just going to use some isopropyl alcohol now just to clean off any flux. I haven't added any flux to this, by the way. It looks like the flux was already on there and I'm just basically removing it. Just give them a little clean as well. And now for this switch, just going to use some contact cleaner. Just spray it in there. It's a fairly sealed switch, so you can't really take it apart and have a good go at it. So what I thought I'd do, I'd just spray some of this in there Just give it a couple of actions backwards and forwards, spray some more in there. And what this does, it will just kind of dissolve any crud or rubbish that's got in there over the years, and just yeah, hopefully make a good contact again. So again, just giving it a few actions, and then just going to give it a little wiggle as well, just to make sure it's cleared all that crud out. So the good thing with a contact cleaner is it clears itself after about 5-10 minutes. It just evaporates. You can see I'm using my professional vacuum cleaner here to clean out the case. And as you can see, lots of dust and rubbish has built up in here over the years, so I just thought I'd give it a little clean out.
We've got razorware.
Also, after doing this, I give it a little wipe down with a cleaning cloth as well, just to get them last little bits out that the elephant couldn't get. So just putting the keyboard back on here. Just got these little brown brackets. I'm assuming they're just to give it a little bit of extra support rather than just relying on the two screws, just to give it a little bit more of a brace. You can see the screws on this are very hefty, holding it together. Probably the biggest screws I think I've ever seen holding a computer case together. These are the kind of screws you would use to kind of hold a TV on a wall. Like they're massive. I managed to forget to plug this ribbon cable in, but you can just about get to it to plug it in with the keyboard in place. But obviously it'd be a lot easier doing that without the keyboard in situ. Just putting the power ball back in again. And again, I found the trick to this now is really you want to put the RF side in first and then slot the other bit in. You see right now I'm trying to do it the switch side. There you go, RF side, switch side, goes in lovely again. Disconnect its power back up again. And that just needs to screw down. And again, I cannot get over the build quality of this computer. As I say, it's so well put together. And one thing I'm surprised other manufacturers didn't do, you see these are kind of like metal crimps that go over the plastic posts. So the plastic posts are hollow, doesn't bite the screw at all. It's just that metal that's biting the screw. And to me, it makes so much sense. On the Commodore, for example, how many of them posts are smashed and destroyed because you're going into the plastic? With these ones just going into the metal, it's just such a good design choice. So now the moment of truth. Let's see if this switch is going to hold up. Giving it a little wiggle there. So far so good. I'll just turn it round to the camera so you guys can see. So yeah, just giving it a little wiggle. It's all fine. Power it off. Power it back on. Give it a little wiggle. Yeah, so it looks like that's cleared all the rubbish out of there. I'm just going to try a game on it because again, I've not used this computer before. So as you can see, this tape player has both things. I can, either use the REM ear mic, similar to the BBC or the Acorn or Spectrum, or I can use this other connector here. So these are just some of the games that I got with it. Again, mostly educational games. There's a couple of obviously less than legal games in there as well. So to load a game, you just got to do C load M, hit return. So found out the first cassette player wasn't actually making any sound. This one is making sound. So try this again. Yeah, that does sound good. Just using that connector. So what I decided to do now was just use a laptop and use a WAV file online. See if it'll work that way. That's looking good. Yep, so that all looks like it's working fine anyway. Excellent. I'll see you on the next one. So this is the output using an RCA cable. So looks like we might have some more work to do on this little fella. So we'll leave that one for next time. Let's see how the other one is. As for the other one, as you can see, a very interesting output. Through the RF it comes through fine, but through this RCA cable, yes, not a very good picture at all. So I think both of these at some point in the future are going to get a further look at. This one especially because I fancy upgrading it to 64K. Right, until next time.